Okay, let's get going. Talk about some more death and dying, Penny, whether you like it or not.
Let's talk about something else today.
Yeah.
What?
That's the name of the class.
She wants to talk about something else today.
Everybody has a wild hair up their ass today.
Okay, all right, well, oh, wow, that would be hard.
Just kidding.
That would be hard. I don't know how to do that. I don't think I could shift gears and talk about something else, but we'll try to make it fun. Mary?
I found out that magnets do not stick to my stainless steel refrigerator. None of them.
No.
So is it really stainless steel?
It's not magnetic.
It's not magnetic, it's not ferrous.
Usually they put something on there that makes the magnet work.
Oh,
So.
I didn't
know.
Not my sister, but on
I
the
tried
side.
everything, even the end of life
Yeah, yeah,
ending,
yeah.
which is like so strong. And it just went,
Fall.
What is
yeah.
Huh.
Not that I like my stainless steel refrigerator, because it's hard to keep clean, but I have one.
See all the fingerprints on there.
That's the way to get
Yeah.
some fruit in. I was, thank you. Yeah. What the hell do I do?
Well, dang.
Uh-huh.
Try the side. The side of your refrigerator, nope,
Doesn't
nothing.
work.
Wow, that's a good fridge.
Oh.
Well, if a magnet doesn't stick to your refrigerator and it's stainless steel, is it really steel?
No,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
not ferrous.
That's
Apparently so.
I don't know.
They cheated.
I don't know. Like I'd be asking that question. We can talk about that
I had
today.
the same problem. We
Okay.
redid our, this was a few years ago, we redid our kitchen. It wouldn't stick, it only stuck out, and fortunately, the refrigerator didn't quite fit the space, so it stuck out. So I'd have to put them on the side, but it wouldn't stick.
But on the front, it wouldn't.
That's weird, huh?
Not on the door.
Well, darn. Well, that feels, for me, it feels a little intrusive. It's like you can't
Yeah.
put that stuff on your refrigerator. You have to keep it clean. It's like, who's telling me I have to?
It won't stick, so you're screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm not taping stuff. There's too much stuff to tape.
Huh. Huh.
The reason is there's
Okay,
a lot of
well,
nickel in
let's
stainless
tell some
steel.
stories here.
Is
Is
there?
that true? No.
What's that?
Jay said there's a lot of nickel in stainless steel, so it won't stick.
That's
Yeah.
why it's not as
And
magnetic.
that makes it
Huh.
almost
It's
not
a
magnetic.
process,
Oh.
yeah, they added, it's an alloy. Stainless steel is an alloy of steel and other metals to make it stainless.
Well,
Yeah.
dang. We all learned something, and we got to talk about something a little bit different.
Dogs, we should talk about dogs. It's a pre-Valentine thing, because all of us love our cats. All of us love our pets.
All of us love our pets.
Oh, speaking of pets, I will tell one quick story, but we won't go into a lot of pet stories. When we did the first chapter, which was about making our homes safe and doing things to make them more livable for us, one thing I didn't focus on, for unknown reasons, it was talking about levers. Because having levers on for doors instead of doorknobs, oh, it is like a lifesaver for people. Having them on your sinks so that your faucets are levers. All of those kinds of things. Good ideas. However, my neighbor, she has a lever on her faucet in the sink, or in the kitchen, and she has a cat. Okay? One day while she was gone to work, the cat got up on the sink and was messing around as cats do, and cat turned on the water. And the water ran all day long while she was gone. Her cabinet top delaminated. It flooded the floor in her entire house. She's in a tiny house. She's had to replace all of her floor covering. In one place, she had to replace subfloor because the water had been running all day. And just run, I don't know whether the sink was stopped up, what the deal was, but it completely flooded the entire house. And it was the cat.
Did she replace the cat?
No, she still got the cat. So there is that one little perhaps hazard. It'd be easier for you to do, but a cat could also turn it on.
And I
So-
have heard of animals who have learned to open doors with the lever because they, cats hang, dogs smack it and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've seen all kinds of videos on that. But it does make it easy for older hands, and it makes it easy for everybody. It's one thing I do, and sometimes in the inspections I do on houses, is I say, let's just replace your doors, your door handles, and let's see what happens there, because it's a simple thing to do. And and then they're like, they come back and they're like, oh my God, just coming in the front door, or coming in the door from the garage, as we get older and our hands get perhaps not as strong as they should be, that it's just like, it's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. It's an easy thing to do. So, I mean, there's so many moving parts of this whole discussion about getting old and dying and stuff. So, anyway, so I'll tell you a quick story, and then we got a great story over here in the corner. And this may sound like I'm beating my own drum, which I am a little bit, but I pass this around because we now have a waiting list. You'll pass this around. I did a one-day class back in November for end-of-life options and aging and long-term services down at South Valley Multipurpose Center. And it was a one-day class. It was this 8-week class reduced into 6 hours. Ed was there, and I have to talk really fast, and we compress this thing into 6 hours. So we decided, I've got a contract now with Aging and Long-Term Services, and we're going to do 6 of these around the state. This one is our first one that we're really up and rolling on, is the one that's going to be in Placitas at the end of this month on the 28th on a Saturday. So we sent out last Friday, End of Life Options sent out the e-blast saying this class is open for signups. Okay?
Sir?
By Tuesday, we had limited it to 35 people. By Tuesday, it was full. And now we have a waiting list. We have a waiting list of 40 people.
Wow.
So it's like, whoa.
Why do you think so many people want to die?
Well, I mean, it's just like, it's kind of like we want to breathe. I mean, it's going to happen. So, but they want to talk about it. They want to be prepared. So, and they want, that's my opinion, is that the more people know, the better this is going to look,
But it's interesting that all of a sudden, everybody's interested in wanting to know how to die best.
Well, maybe it's about time. I don't know.
Demographics.
I don't know.
More of us are aging, and the demographic situation is such that we're an aging country,
Yeah.
Like, there are a bigger percentage of the people that are older.
I think it's
pushing us.
Most of us have realized we needed to do something, but we haven't done anything because we don't know exactly what to do.
Right.
And so I think that's why people are more interested in the classes and that type of thing, because it's giving people structure. Where before, you were just like, I don't know, I gotta do
Thank you, Carol, that's true, yeah.
Nobody dies with their boots on anymore. It's.
It's this decline.
It's
So
just
many
a
people,
slow
it is a
decline and
decline. It's like a,
Not
yeah,
always, falling on your face.
right. Which is what, a lot of us would like. I mean, that's the way I'd like to go, is I'd like to go like Jane Goodall did, signed up for a speaking engagement,
Yeah.
and I don't show up for it. Because I died. I'm supposed to be doing this speaking engagement, and they say, well, where's Jane? Well, didn't we check her room? Well, that's the way I want to go.
But I
That's why
think the big focus on Alzheimer's is also
That's
good,
probably
Oh, boy,
because that's been such a focus
suffering for everybody.
over the last 10 years.
right, right. Don't you wish we could figure that one out? Because, I mean, that, cancer, I'd probably deal with cancer better than I would with that. Well, I know I would,
Yes.
than dealing with dementia. It's like, and I've told you my position on that, I'm not doing it. You know, if I have dementia, I'm not riding that train, period. So, and that sounds a little extreme for some people, it doesn't fit everybody's end-of-life planning, but for me, it would be way up there. I've watched too many long, drawn-out family train wrecks and people, and financial train wrecks of people navigating dementia. It's like, oof. Yeah. So, you have a wonderful story for us,
Yes, I do.
Barbara.
Last week.
So speak as loud as you can.
Okay, I'll put on my
Use your outside voice.
use my therapist voice.
Okay. Therapist voice.
I'm
Okay.
in a vision loss support group called the 2020 Club. I've been in it a long time. Well, there's a woman who moved down here about 3 years ago to live with her daughter, and she and the daughter would come nearly every month, very active, mother sharp as a tack. At our Christmas meeting, the mother said, I have something to say. Okay. She said, I'm 99 years old. I can't see and I can't hear, but I'm still here. What an uplifting thing. Well, January she was there. Last week, we no sooner got home from this class than there was a telephone message from the daughter, and she said, I'm sorry to let you know that my mother died about 4 days after the last meeting. She said she woke up and one day and she said, I don't feel very good today, having trouble breathing. She said, well, let's go to the doctor. So they did. She said they did a nebulizer treatment, which was better. 2 days later, she woke up. She said, I am in a lot of pain. I think it's my heart. Okay, she said, let's go to the ER. So they did, and so nobody else was in there, and the doctor checked her and said, it's your heart. She said, I knew that. And he said, well, we need to get you to the heart hospital. And she said, no, I have a DNR order. She whipped it out. They said, oh, well, that makes a difference then. They gave her some morphine. She had an hour or so to call her other daughter, some of her grandkids, and the daughter said she died so beautifully and peacefully in about an hour. And she said, what more could you ask for? I'll never forget this woman. And it reinforced everything that we're learning here is have those orders.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the poor lady might be on life support now knowing nothing.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I love stories like that, and let's give her, what was her name?
Ellie,
What was her name?
Ellie.
Her name was Ellie
Ellie?
Foskett. The mother, or the daughter, is Nancy Basie.
Okay, beautiful.
It was a beautiful story, and just, she was an uplifting person.
Did she die at home, or did she die at the heart hospital?
They didn't take her to the heart hospital. She
Okay.
died in the ER, I guess.
Okay,
Please.
okay.
Just right there.
Phone calls
Cool. And to be able to speak up and say that. And that's another thing I didn't talk about, because one of the deaths that got me into this whole thing that I do now and teaching this was with my daughter-in-law. She panicked when she couldn't breathe, and when she was having problem breathing, and she put herself on life support. She called for help, which basically voided her directive and her DNR, because she voided it by panicking, because none of us were with her, which was, I regret that to this day, that we weren't with her to support her and didn't put her into hospice. But you can void your own advance directive by the care that you submit to. And she could have done that if she had said, yeah, let's go to the heart hospital, then her DNR probably would not have applied, because she would have been in the heart hospital. So you can negate your advance directive by your own actions. So, sorry, Penny. Penny's just shaking her head. She said, man,
This is too confusing.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, it's scary, it's like when you're by yourself, they're gonna do whatever they wanna do.
Well,
And
unless
that's
you
what
can say no.
scares me, because they won't honor your paperwork.
They will honor your paperwork, but if you don't have somebody to speak for you and you can't speak for yourself, she can speak for herself,
She
so
did, and the
way to
daughter
go,
was there
girl.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes it hard, but if you don't, if nobody's there to speak for you and your paperwork isn't on file, like if you go to, or if you go to UNM and your paperwork's at Prez, they're gonna do what the medical system does, which is, oh man, let's see if we can save this person, let's see what we can fix. So,
I had my
Okay.
hand up first.
God, got a fight going over here in this corner. Okay.
This
is the feisty one over here in the corner.
8 by 11.
Do what?
Haven't they come out with any cards that will fit in your wallet?
You're gonna have a card, I'm meeting with my printer, or with my
tags that would,
dog tags.
how do you get them?
Dave wears a dog tag.
How do you get them?
With DNRs, you can order them, but you have to have a really valid DNR signed by a doctor.
Dave told us last week, you explained what you were doing out in the mountains, and you wear a locket. On that locket is engraved everything that you need to know. So if you're by yourself, you've got a locket around your neck with the engraved information. And that's what I understood from what you had to say last week.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a locket, but it's
A
more
dog
of
tag.
more of a dog tag. But yeah, it's got my name, it's got my nephew's phone number. If I was in a DNR situation, I would probably put DNR or do not resuscitate.
Or the doctor said, or something.
Yeah, yeah.
too.
Yep. But more importantly, when you're in the mountains or doing something by yourself, is to
Yeah.
tell somebody where you are,
Yeah,
where you went,
yeah.
and then tell them that you're safe afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, but the idea is, you can wear it around
Yeah.
your neck.
Right.
Because remember when they're
Or in a wallet.
Yeah, when they're doing compressions on you, they're gonna see your tag because they're at your chest.
That's right.
So they're gonna.
Where can you get these tags?
Well, listen, where'd you get yours?
So I got mine at Road ID. It's ROAD dot or Road ID ROADID.com. It's a little company, and they make stainless steel tags. They make wrist IDs, and you can get the little medicine allergy stuff on there also. So they have a variety of things. They even have a service where you can put a website on your tag that'll send the doctors to a website that has everything on it. There's a charge for that service, but
Get you with an AED, they're gonna electrocute you. What's the,
it's called Road ID, ROADID.com. It's a company because they started with road cyclists
Okay.
that rode their bikes on the road. So because not all drivers are the safest sometimes, and they sometimes run us off the road. So that's how they started. So they just kept that name. But it's for hiking, cycling,
Regular
It's
people.
regular people.
I think
I mean,
I
I
need to
would
get
say
one.
I would say a dog tag is a good idea for a lot of people.
Okay.
You can call it a locket if you'd like.
Well,
Or you can have a locket made and you can put other stuff inside it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
Cool, I
We
like
talked
that.
about
I like that. So, because if they're gonna check my wallet or check my phone, but if I've got it on my body,
I was told though, if you just have the bracelet, that's no good. You have to have the paperwork with a sign.
for a DNR, you have to have the paperwork to back it up. Okay? And you can get that, if you Google DNRs and how to get ID bracelets and pendants that show your DNR, it has the number on there of your actual DNR because your DNR has a number on it. It's registered. So, but you can do that. Y'all are gonna research that yourself, or we're gonna do another class and Dave can do another class. I don't know, because I don't know about that stuff, but I'm gonna have one of those made. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Google DNR.
Just Google DNR IDs or bracelets or whatever, and you'll see what the requirements are on that. So, and if you have serious allergies, it's really a good idea to have those.
Yeah.
We've got a friend who has allergy to amoxicillin, which is the most common antibiotic. Well, she was in a coma for 2 weeks a year ago because of that, because of amoxicillin. That's how they discovered she had an allergy to it, or a severe reaction, put her in a coma. And so now it's like she wears something that says, don't even think about giving me that, because it caused meningitis, and she almost died. So, did you have something else, Barbara?
No, I just had to say.
Or did you,
allergies.
Jay? Is she gonna let you talk? We had a fight going over there in the corner.
Is there any utility of putting anything in a glove box of a car when you're on a trip, or do they not go there?
They can, you might have it there, but you need a way for people to access it, you know, because going to your car, they may or may not get to it,
Yeah.
you know. So you need some other ways to carry it with you. I love the dog tag, I love the websites, get you into, you know, somebody to call, make sure the person that's on there to call has all of your paperwork, knows what you want, and can speak for you. So, Dave mentioned last week that his nephew is instructed that if he gets a call from a 505 prefix, that he's to answer it. Okay? And if you're traveling, you probably say, this is where I am. So if you get a call from, you know, the 506 prefix or whatever state you're going through, just think about those things. Who would they call? I had a friend who died in Florida. God, it's been, what, 7 years now? I don't know, long time. And it took him 3 days to find his family because he didn't have that kind of identification on him. So why didn't, I don't know. He was on a dive, and why they didn't have that, I don't know. But just think about that kind of stuff, because otherwise you're gonna be sitting in, you know, the office of the medical investigator, and they're trying to figure out who the heck you are and who to call. So, which is, for me, I mean, if I'm dead, I'm okay with that, but my family might be a little disturbed.
They're gonna be worried
Sorry,
about your
Penny.
dog.
Huh?
They're gonna be worried about your dog.
Yeah, well, somebody had already figured that out.
Paper and it will say where to take the dog.
Yeah,
Right?
okay. Another thing, if you have an opportunity to pick this up, it's the new prime time. Letting go without losing yourself, downsizing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's prime time. There's a few of them out here, not many. We clean this out, and I mean, the first few people out, I think, would clean this one out. But they're all over town. And you said it was a 6-week. It was.
Yes, it's the next 6 weeks.
It's the next 6
article.
weeks
Yeah.
is articles about downsizing,
Decluttering and downsizing.
and they do some really good stuff. A home care conversation, letting go without losing yourself. They do some really good stuff in this. So.
And a good crossword puzzle.
Huh?
And a good crossword puzzle too.
Yeah, yeah. So pick this up and just chart through it, because most of us, the downsizing thing, downsizing junk stuff, Dave doesn't have the problem. He didn't have anything. He has a couch and a mirror.
It's true. And a bike and a dog, that's
You
it.
must have
A
downsized
couch, a mirror,
already.
and a dog.
You must have downsized already.
I think I have an iron skillet.
He's got it down. He's got it down.
I might have taken it to the other extreme.
That dining
Mr.
table is gonna
Minimalist.
slow you down.
That's true, that darn table and chairs, gosh darn it.
But it's,
Garages are for cars, not stuff.
Yeah, right.
and if you gotta buy stuff to put your stuff in,
Yeah, then you got too
Get
much
rid of
You
the
stuff.
stuff.
You got
You
too
might
much
want to look
stuff.
seriously at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need to go buy some tubs.
Yeah.
To put all your stuff in.
Yeah.
Put your stuff in.
There's some tubs, yeah. Yeah, somebody's gonna have to deal with that, so. And I tell the story of a dear friends of mine. He's a few years older than I am. He's in his early 80s, not just his first 80, like me. And his wife is 67, 66. Well, they needed to move from this tri-level, split level, upstairs, downstairs, 4 steps into the garage, 3 steps into the living room, from every direction.
Yeah.
They needed to move into a single story. Okay? For her, at her age, it was simple. It was so easy for her to let go. He'd been all over the world. He had stuff from all over the world. He had books. The books were the most painful part. We talked about
Yeah,
books.
oh, yeah, it was terrible.
I helped them move, and the last day I could hardly stand it because we loaded up the back of 2 cars, 2 Subarus, with books that we took to the library. We got to donate, and his heart was broken.
Yeah.
Absolutely broken, and she was okay with it. So there's an age differential there too. Of it's sooner is easier than later. So,
The thing with books too is they get out of date. I mean, we're not talking novels, but when I moved from Brooklyn to here,
right,
and I couldn't part with my graduate school books
right,
from the 60s.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I looked at them and I thought, God, the theories are totally different now.
Yeah, right.
oh yeah,
And I couldn't even donate them. I just
Right.
had to dump them.
right, which is a heartbreaker. Those of us that love books, I mean, I love a book.
Yeah.
I love them in my hands. I come from a family of dysfunctional book owners. I remember with my mom when we were moving her, and we were working on getting stuff out of the house, and I had this load of books in my car, and it was stuff. I mean, it was Reader's Digest condensed books from the 50s and 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s,
Oh my gosh.
which nobody takes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had those all in my car,
Oh my.
and so I drove around to the alley as I was leaving because I was going to unload my car into the dumpster because I knew nobody would take them. And my brother was there, my older brother, and he's there dumping something else in the dumpster. And we stood there and looked at each other. And he said, you know, we're going to have to kill each other now. And I said, yeah, pretty much. You want to help me? I mean, it's painful. It's painful. So sooner rather than later. Yeah, and I mean, we're attached to that stuff. I've got a workshop that I'm working on is people writing their memoirs as a downsizing exercise to take the stuff in the house and let's go through it object by object. This is what you do, and you write the story that goes with it, and then you release it. And by the time you get through, your memoir is written. Because all this stuff that you've collected over the years, and then you find and you give it to somebody, give it to your neighbor, give it to, whatever. So that's just an idea.
About this auction addiction guy that I've used when I was transferred here. I had so much stuff, I was like, all right, I gotta clear out some of this. So I called this guy, he came out and takes professional pictures of what you wanna get rid of. He posts them online, and then he sends you a check.
Yeah.
People come and
Well,
visit.
who's that? Because I want to get rid of my storage
Auction
unit.
addiction.
It's called auction addiction.
Yeah.
Yep,
I need to
Yep.
write that down.
yep.
And I think.
Yeah.
He does that too, yeah. And there's local people that
That's
do
such
that.
an
Some of
easy
them will
thing.
take them and they actually have a warehouse.
Is that local?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's easy, because then you don't sit around and think about it.
Yeah, I want to get rid of my
He comes
stuff.
out, he
Yeah.
does his thing, and that's that.
Yeah.
Also, what's easy, you've got your phone. Like when because I moved from, you know, Brooklyn to here, and I kept thinking,
Yeah,
what's worth paying to move
yeah,
from
yeah, right.
the country? So anything, so I gave away, I donate, you know, I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I still have the pictures on my phone.
Right.
Because I'm sort of not quite ready to delete the photos, but at least I know what I got rid of.
Right,
Yeah,
And it takes up very little memory.
right.
yeah.
So
Right.
that's a great option.
Yeah, there's different ways, and people come up with creative ways of doing it. Carol?
So I read something this week or last week that says if you're downsizing, here's what you do. You take your stuff, and every time you go to your friend's house, you leave it. Did you see that?
Yeah, when you go visit somebody, take something and leave it in their house.
Just leave it there. Don't say anything, just leave it.
Oh, I'm gonna go start doing that with Gail. Every time I go to mortality movies, I'm gonna take something and leave it.
Yeah, but Jane,
should show her that.
Jane,
I don't know.
Gail is downsizing too, so you can't do
She's
that.
not doing, but she's got a lot farther to go than I do.
Yeah,
Oh, she's making good progress.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jane, check this out.
I just wanted to show you the picture.
Who visited this summer and cleaned out all her books.
Oh, my goodness.
That's one pile.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
books are, we love them, but oh my God, are they tough
Three
to,
loads to Staples.
they're tough
and
to
then we said,
part
"No
with."
more."
Yeah.
when my 96-year-old sister moved up here, she couldn't stand to get rid of her books. So her little tiny apartment over at the assisted living has 2 6-foot bookshelves that are like 3 or 4 feet wide, completely full of books. She said, you can leave all this other stuff behind, but my books are coming with me. And her kids said, fine, we'll do that. So they threw some other stuff away, but then she's like, still, they took it to the damn dumpster. But, but, you know, let's think about that, you know, and it's hard. It's hard because that's our memories. You know, our memories are tied up in these objects.
And just think of all the money, though, all the money you spent on your whole
Oh,
collection.
don't even go there.
You know, I mean, all the money you spent, you
Don't
know,
go there.
it's like,
That
oh
just-
my goodness.
That adds a whole other layer
That
of
really bothers me.
crazy.
That's the thing that bothers
Yeah.
me.
About the money, then they end up keeping things
Yeah.
that they shouldn't, because it's
Yeah.
not important, but oh my gosh, I spend good money on
Yeah,
it.
I know, I know.
Gone. The money's
Yeah.
already gone.
Yeah, the
So-
money's been gone, yeah.
Get it up.
Like you said,
Money's
don't
already
even
spent.
think about
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah, don't even think about it. You already spent that money. You know, it's like a whole lot of other things in our lives. That
Yeah.
money's gone.
Yeah.
So, moving right along. Okay, oh, let's just start this around too, so because I need to let everybody, make sure I've got your emails. Tom asked me if I had done an email list, which I haven't, so, let's work on that. Okay, our topic today is not dogs. Although they can be part of estate planning. And we passed out, and this is just to either intimidate or inspire you. You choose. And Carol has what do you have, a 4-page one?
Yeah, mine's about 4 pages.
About 4 pages. Table of contents. This came from Mary, which I thank you, Mary, for providing this. And this is her organizer.
It's the paper that goes with the digital,
It's the paper,
for my son.
okay? I'll talk a little bit about my friend who, he has a 1-pager like this. He has a notebook that everything is in. His notebook is very slim because it only has, basically it has his trust documents and has a few other, his funeral planning, his cremation stuff, all that stuff's in there. But he has gone through it with his sons, so he knows, they know where everything is, and he's super simplified his estate plan. So he has a 1-pager that he just calls his death letter. You have the Dear Adam letter.
Dear Adam, yep.
So we can make it as simple or as complicated. We have a project manager over here, and it's like, I'm impressed. I am impressed. Mine's in a little binder about this thick, because I've done, and we're gonna talk about how you can simplify some of your stuff, but some of it you just can't simplify. Some of it you just have to have the documents and stuff there. So, but let's talk about estate planning, and as you're probably figuring out as we've gone through this whole notebook, that this is all about estate planning. It's not just about dying, Penny. It's just, are you leaving us?
No, I gotta go pee.
Oh, okay. We're like family here now, aren't we?
She's in rare form today. Rare form.
What'd she have for breakfast?
I don't know. She might have took a happy pill or something. Took a happy pill.
Can I comment about my directory? So this is for my son, my stepson, who is listed as my key trustee to carry everything out. But when you were talking about things that people don't want to get rid of, my husband was an amazing musician, poet, woodworker, incredible chef, photographer, just amazing things. And so there's a lot of his artwork, wood and photography in the house that the kids have all said, yeah, I want that, I want that. They're gonna argue over the photos. And then he bought me a lot of jewelry over the years, and my daughter-in-law and my daughter and my granddaughters have all picked stuff out. So what you see in the directory is a lot of the things that, and the special mementos, you know, the stuff that clutters my house, that I spent a lot of money on, Lisa, you know, it's all of the things that are of value to me that may not be of value to them, but I wrote the stories about all of them.
Okay,
So, and my,
fill up the book.
yeah, and my daughter, my stepdaughter said, the thing that I really love is the stories about where you got something, what dad gave to you, when.
That's nice.
And the same thing with the jewelry. So for me, there's like half of this that is all the mementos that I've gotten since my husband died, to commemorate him at Christmas, to commemorate our wedding anniversary, all of his artwork. He was really a civil engineer, right? And you'd never know, because he was just so amazing, so creative. And so it's important for me to tell the stories. And I don't give a shit what they do with it at the end, really. But at least I've put the stories out there. And, you know, I've said, this is valuable, don't put it in an estate sale. Get a quote from somebody first. You know, those are the things that I think are important for kids to make a decision, or whomever is going to be handling your estate, because, you know, it is, you want them to have the money, Lisa. But in the end, I won't give a crap.
Yeah.
We'll be dead.
Can't take it. We'll be dead. I'm
Yeah,
going
you
to be
can.
on the other side,
You're
and
right.
I'm not going to come back and haunt you if you
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Right.
All right? If you want money, here it is. Here's the story. Here's the story.
Mary, I have a question for you on that. With your items that you have, that you want to give away to them, why don't you give them to them now? So
I've started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would start
No.
giving stuff away now and decluttering your stuff. And that way you don't have to worry, you know?
You know, it's the jewelry, and I won't give up my husband's artwork, or his woodworking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if I had to downsize, I'd start giving pieces
Some
to
things.
the kids that they've picked out already.
yeah.
Right.
And I've started to give pieces of jewelry to my daughter-in-law and my daughter and my granddaughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a template for me, and this is, if I get dementia, this is something I can look at that says, oh
yeah, now
I
I
figured
remember.
that out already.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, but with you telling them the story behind the jewelry
I
and giving
love the
them,
stories.
that's really good, because then you can tell it you know, and they can have that,
It's in
you
the
know.
documents. I mean, I've
Yeah.
got a picture of a piece of artwork with a text box that tells the story of it, or a piece of artwork that I purchased, or the jewelry. And to me, that is, this is really for me. This is really for me. And they, you know, at the end, like I said, I'll be in the netherworld, the other side, and, you know, heaven, whatever religion you believe in.
Or whatever's next.
Or whatever's next, and I'm not gonna haunt them if they don't follow.
That helps.
Follow the.
Can I ask one more question? Did you do this because your husband passed away?
Yeah.
And it was, you know, this was helping you get through all of that? Or
No.
how did you decide to
It took me
start?
like 3 or 4 years after he passed away for me to start working on it, and so this is like 4 or 5 years.
I see.
And I just keep adding to it. If I get a piece of jewelry for myself, because it took me like 4 years to buy a piece of nice jewelry for myself, because everything that I had was from my husband.
I see.
And it was like, well, nobody's gonna buy it for you, so if you want it, you
Yeah.
better buy it.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, it is, so I keep adding to it, Lisa. I keep adding a piece of jewelry or a piece of artwork, something that is of value, and I tell the story. It's got a picture, and it tells the story of where it's from. So it's important to me.
So does that feel like a process of release too?
Yeah.
To tell the stories and then be able to release that piece into whatever its next life is by
Yeah.
telling the story, which is what I'm talking about with this memoir idea that I have of let's go through your house and just do, you know, let's tell the stories that go with the stuff we think we have to keep.
Yeah.
You know, why do we have to keep this? You know, or where did this come from? Why do I have this piece? The stories, that's wonderful, okay?
And Danielle Slupewski, who is a death doula that I work with once a month, which is helping me get my shit together, emotionally and spiritually. It's interesting because one of her questions is, what would you take with you if you had to downsize? And I have yet to tackle that, you know, because it would be whatever's in here that is really, really, truly important to me, that is what I would focus on. Yeah, I'd want a bed. I'd want my bed.
Right.
I'd want, you know, my favorite pans in the kitchen, if I could still cook. But by the same token, it's what do I want to surround myself with? Because I bought artwork when I got out of college before I bought furniture. So that's really important to me. So it's what drives each person to make a decision about what's truly important. Yeah, I have a lot of books, and I love my books. If I had to get rid of my books, I'd keep artwork versus books.
Yeah, so prioritizing,
See, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
prioritizing. So this is good to hear stories how other people are navigating these downsizing, life changes, whatever they are. So thanks for sharing that. Let's tell those stories. We're working on a project, a group of us, of a storytelling event. I'm a storyteller also. I have been part of Storytellers of New Mexico for the last 8 years. And we're looking at a storytelling event where we talk about stuff like this, downsizing, about death stories, like the story that Barbara told us about the 99-year-old lady saying, nope, hold the phone. No, I'm not going to the hospital, I'm good. That's not the exit plan I want. So, and I told y'all last week about a neighbor of mine whose 97-year-old grandmother in Mexico, she needed to have heart surgery, and part of the family is saying, that's crazy, and she says, nope, I've had it twice before, I'm doing it again. And she had a bypass surgery and is doing fine. She was 97. She was home from the hospital in 4 days.
Yeah.
And the family that was saying, oh, Grandma will do that, is saying, wow. But again, it's choice. is choice. How do we make our choices? And to hear those stories in a storytelling event, because I love storytelling events, I've facilitated them before, and so we're gonna do one about death and death and dying and getting old and decisions and memories and,
Let me know.
yeah.
And that
okay.
lady,
Is there a
Cool.
date scheduled for that?
That we don't have it scheduled yet, we're in conversation. I have too many, my
Irons in
plate's,
the fire.
my plate's full.
and that lady could live another 10 years.
Well, she
From
may,
that, you know,
yeah, she may
so-
live, I mean, she's 97,
Yeah,
got her heart fixed again, she said, I've done it twice before, it's not a big deal, go
yeah,
fix it.
yeah.
So, and that's just that's the, you know, the two sides of the same coin. It's like, nope, I'm good, nope, fix it. Again, defending those choices, so, anyway,
I have one helpful question to share. So
okay,
before we moved to New Mexico 8 years ago, we lived in our house for 27 years.
oh boy,
Wow.
So instead of asking the question, do I want to move this, the question became, how much do I want to pay to move this with me?
Yeah.
And that brought very different answers.
Yeah,
okay,
Well, that's what Ann talked about.
yeah,
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 that
Yeah.
was very helpful.
yeah.
yeah,
I also wanted to mention one other idea that I thought was really great. I go to this small music venue, and there was it's a nonprofit, and there was a man who died who used to do a lot of photography of the musicians, and had these beautiful it was really artistic, some beautiful black and white portraits. And the wife, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years after he died, I don't know who got them framed, but they were all framed very nicely, and she donated all these photographs to the music venue to use for fundraising.
Was it Chatter?
So they,
Was it Chatter?
no, it was the Outpost.
the outpost,
And
yeah.
they had them all over, on the wall, and I think they were charging like $75 or something, but they were selling them.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like a wonderful thing to do in his memory. So they would always announce where these photographs came from.
Right, right. There's so many different ideas, and we can come up with different ways of navigating this stuff. Barbara?
Yeah, when my mother died at 93, she had a big house. She had all this stuff, books, art, in it. And my brother and I spent 3 years going through her stuff, getting the house ready to sell, all of that. I don't regret a minute of it, because it gave us time to process things. I live 400 miles this way, he lived 500 miles that way from where my mother's house was. But it gave us those 3 years to process all that stuff, to have memories, to pass things on, even like birth announcements to cousins that they never had seen their own stuff. And it gave us time to process a lot of trauma from our childhood. And I never regret it. He died about 2 years after that. But we had those 3 years when we were able to make a bond we never had
Right.
as children. So I don't regret it, and so I think, well, I'll do what I can while I'm still alive. But if my kids have to go through some stuff, I'll be gone, I won't care. Let
I'm
'em
with you on
figure it
that
out.
too. Yeah, we did that cleaning my mom's house. My niece and I did a lot of that, of cleaning my mom's house out after she died. And what we did, there were 9, I'm one of 9 siblings, and we had boxes for each sibling. And we just sorted stuff into them, photos, letters, whatever we found that we thought should go to Bill, and I kept saying, don't put that in my box. But then what we did on my box is that I gave it to my son and said, here, take this, we're good. And so there's all kinds of ways to navigate this stuff. And it was an extremely bonding time for my niece and I to go through all of that stuff. And the responses we got from family members when we sent them the box or the envelope and said, here, you figure it out. And so we started divvying it that way. So there's all kinds of ways to navigate this. Everybody, it's like all of our choices. None of us, we talked about this early on, none of us know how we're gonna die. It's gonna look different for each one of us. How we navigate our estate is gonna look different for each one of us. How we're gonna navigate our stuff is different, and we're gonna have, what great stories are gonna come out of this. I love this, I love the story parts. So, and now we're gonna talk about estate planning because that's what we came here for. So it's not about death, Penny,
She
we're
said
talking
that 3 or
about
4
estate
times
planning.
now.
But all of this stuff is, I mean, everything in this workbook really feeds into estate planning. So you talk about this, how can we do an estate and do some really good estate planning, even the documents, until we look at all the pieces. You know, you've got all the pieces, you've got all these different tabs in there. And we've got all those different tabs in our brain and in our life. So how do we do an estate plan? We don't just walk in and do a will. I mean, a lot of people do. I can't tell you how many times when I'm doing like a tabling event or a talk for a group, and people say, well, I've done a will, I'm good to go. It's like, okay, all right, do you want to talk about it? Nope, I got it. I got an advance directive and I got a will. Okay, and they shut it down. But they haven't talked about what went into that. So that's what we're going to talk today about. We're on week 6, but we've talked about our homes. We've talked about navigating the medical system and being able to make a decision if you go into, because you're having a heart thing going on, and say, well, if you don't do this, you're going to die, and you're being willing to raise your hand and say, I'm good with that. How soon? But to talk about those things as you go along, instead of just checking the boxes on an advance directive or checking boxes on a will, it's like, what does that really mean? So that's why I teach this the way I do. When I first started coming up with this, people thought I was nuts. Well, they still do, most of them, which is okay. I don't care. But it's like, unless we look at all these pieces, how can we make good decisions about our medical power of attorney, our advance directive, and our actual estate plan? You know, what does that really look like? So, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, Penny. Okay, let's talk about the different parts of what could be involved in an estate plan. Probably a lot of you have already, whether you've done a will or a trust or whether you haven't, a lot of people have already taken care of some of the big chunks of estate planning, okay? If you have a retirement account, if you have a bank account, if you have a lot of those, well, life insurance, those have beneficiaries, okay? They have people that would be successors in interest are already contained in the document itself. If you've got it, and you need to find them, you need to make sure you have all of those documents, the original documents for your investment accounts. Make sure who's your beneficiary on it. Who ends up with your stuff. And it doesn't have to go any further than that. It doesn't need to go into a will. It doesn't need to go into a trust. It stands alone as a way of transferring that asset. It may take it a little while. Don't expect that if I die today, that investment account is going to be available to my son tomorrow. Not going to happen because there's paperwork that has to be done. You know, and Charles Schwab moves kind of slow. Okay?
They do, don't they?
Yeah, they move kind of slow. So don't think that that's an immediate accessible. Life insurance is sometimes a little faster, but investment accounts take some maneuvering. But they don't have to be in any other legal document. They stand alone. Life insurance, check your beneficiary. If we did life insurance back when we worked for the construction company 35 years ago, and I have a life insurance policy, who's my beneficiary on that? Maybe Gary was on there. I don't know. Maybe I need to check that. Had a lady in a class down at Rio Bravo, came in one day. She was a mess. Her husband had died, her second husband, and he said, honey, everything's taken care of. You got a life insurance policy, got this big fat life insurance policy over here, you're taken care of, not a problem. Well, when he died, he had never changed the beneficiary. His first wife got everything. His first wife got everything,
Oh, boy.
okay?
Boy, that
So
would be
get your documents, get your investment documents, call your investment advisor, whoever helps you manage that. Say, I need the documentation that shows who is the beneficiary on this. Make sure they're current, make sure the beneficiary is who you want it to be. If it's a minor child or a minor grandchild, they'll have to have a guardian, okay? They would have to have a guardian before they could get the money. So,
I have a
and,
story of how that can really be bad if a person didn't plan that way.
oh,
Yeah,
My
yeah.
parents both died young, and my mother died first. They never expected her to die first. So my father had it all set up that for my youngest sister, who I think was maybe 19 at the time that he died, that she had dropped out of college, joined a commune, much to my parents' dismay, my father's dismay. He hated it. So he made sure that he had a trust set up for her if he died. Well, he died, right? So the trust, that was, there were issues, but we won't get into that. But I never changed the life insurance from my mother.
right,
So what ended up
Oh.
happening is that the life insurance was divided, whether there were
Amongst
four
all
of
the
us.
kids.
It was divided, equally among the four of us, but did not go into the trust. Well, it turned out the commune had a policy that if you got any money,
They
they
got
had
it.
to go to the commune as a non-interest bearing loan. So my sister's portion went to the commune.
yeah,
And my father would have turned over if he'd had a grave.
Oh,
He
my
turned over
God.
because no way did he want to support the commune. And then years later, when she left the commune, she wanted them to help her pay for nursing school, actually, at that point. And they wouldn't, even
Right.
though, I mean, eventually, I
Yeah.
think they paid her back. But, I mean, that, you have to think of all of those things, and my father did not plan
there's a,
at all.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a
So just
thousand
as
different
an
things to
example.
think about.
Yeah.
That's a story, that's
Oh,
a cautionary story.
Yeah.
But that's why I recommend that you look at your stuff every year, you know? Look, everybody go back and get your documents, get your 3-ring binder, and get those documents sent to you. Have them in your 3-ring binder, so somebody knows where they are, and talk to whoever is gonna be in charge of it, because somebody's gonna have to do that, because they don't go through a will, they don't go through a trust, they don't go through any kind of administrative thing. Somebody has to call and do the paperwork with Charles Schwab or Fidelity or whoever, and New York Life. Somebody's gonna have to deal with that, and unless it's there with the story and the information behind it, and the current beneficiaries listed, so you know what you're dealing with. So everybody think about that. So your assignment before the class is over is gather up all that paperwork.
I've changed my beneficiaries 4 times on my investment account.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But you gotta do it, because things change.
As things change
Oh,
and you
yeah.
change your mind.
Circumstances change.
The
and
money
all of that.
changes,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there's a thousand different ways. Look at it every year. Just take 15 minutes every year and say, yep, this is good. Initial it and say, this is still good.
Can I tell a quick story?
If it's quick,
It's real quick.
okay.
My father had passed away back in the year 1999, and he was an electrician in the union, and me and my brother were supposed to get money when he passed away. Well, anyway, this money was like $300,000, and you know that was a good chunk of money that me and my brother could have used at the time.
Be a good chunk of money I could use today.
Yeah.
I'll take
Anyway, when the leader from the union came up to me, he says, "Oh, well, here you go." I thought he was going to give me an envelope to go with the Bible that he gave me. He gave me a Bible, and he says, well, sorry for your loss and all of that. And that was the end of the story. We never got any money. So we don't even know what happened to this day. And my parents were divorced.
Right.
They got divorced and my dad had a new girlfriend and my mother got remarried. So it was, like you were saying, it was a real mess.
Yeah.
And we still don't know to this day what happened to that money.
Yeah, yeah.
Still don't know.
So if you have something like that
So,
too, like with
yeah.
a parent, say, tell me the real story.
Yeah, nobody knows what happened to this day
Yeah.
with the money.
My friend Erin tells this story. She told it at Death Cafe this week. So I said, "Can I retell your story?" And she said, "Yeah." Well, when her father died, her parents, they were Catholic, so they didn't get divorced. So they had never divorced. They lived just blocks away from each other. She tells a story that the path between the two houses was through the graveyard, which was fun. She said, so she went back and forth and back and forth. But when they got the trust, Dad says everything's taken care of. Everything's taken care of, not a problem. Mom never checked it. The kids never checked it. Well, when he died, her mother's sister got everything.
So,
That he had been having an affair with his
Oh
wife's sister
my gosh.
for all these years,
All
and he
the
left
years, and
everything to her.
And the lady didn't know about it. The
wife didn't know anything about
it. Oh Jesus.
Okay, so just
What a
check this
mess.
stuff. Not that any of us would have any
What a mess.
skeletons in our closets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like horrible.
Another thing you need to check, if you have a trust, is what your state's policy is
Is.
on the trust, for the executor of the
That's
trust.
correct.
Again, my father did not check on that.
Right.
So he named me as the oldest to be the executor of this trust.
Right.
Mm.
Turned out, it had to be someone who lived in state. This
Yep.
was in Ohio.
Check your,
Uh-huh.
And that meant there was only one of 4 sisters who lived in Ohio who was the least competent.
To do that.
She ended
Oh,
up
my
combining her own personal checking account with the trust account.
Oh.
So
So that kind of stuff.
So you need to know what your
Yes.
state's policy is.
That's
on
right.
naming an executor.
That's
and it's
right.
not just policy, it's actually law.
Oh, right,
Right.
that was the
In the
law.
case of my friend, they were in New Hampshire, and there was a law that he couldn't do that the kids still got half of the estate, even though he had said his lover had got everything. And the
Yeah.
state said, oh, no,
Oh, brother.
no, you can't do that. That's just wrong, and for whatever reason. So check, just knowing what those are. And as I told y'all when we started, I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a legal advisor, I'm not a medical advisor, but I've been around the block a couple of times.
Right.
Carol, you got something for us?
So, here's my question. Both my trust and all my beneficiaries, 2 of my kids, as they married, changed their names.
Right.
So I have called and checked with all these places, and they all say, that's fine, you don't need to worry about that. Do I need to worry about that?
It depends about the state too, what state you're in, doesn't it?
You're gonna have, I
You have
can't
to
answer
call,
that.
you have to
Yeah.
talk to an
Yeah, If
attorney.
you're talking to an attorney,
For
they're gonna
sure.
have a better answer on
Oh
that.
my God.
So I need to double check
Yeah,
on that.
double check
Yes.
Because I've called and, they said, oh, no, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But they're not legally identified by their old names.
Yeah, because Carol, if you don't do that, you know who gets to take that money over when you pass away? The state.
The third
The
kid.
state'll take over it, you know, they'll take it.
They wouldn't take over it.
Well, somebody would take it,
But
you know.
not necessarily, but there could be a legal
Yeah.
wrangling.
Like some kind of
go around
glitch,
around
you
that.
know.
So I would clean that up.
Yeah.
I would clean that up. And modifying a trust is is harder to do than modifying a will, okay? But you may not need a will, and I'm not telling you what to do on that. You may or may not need a will, but let's talk about what a will does, okay? So we talked about beneficiaries on investment accounts, on life insurance, those kinds of things that you can create beneficiaries on. They don't go into a trust. You can mention them in a trust. It's not a bad idea to mention them in a trust. So your trustee, your successor trustee, knows that they are there, but your successor trust, phew, boy, that was the bubble. You should have had enough conversations with them that they know where everything is. Even if they're not gonna be a trustee on your beneficiary accounts, okay? They should still know what all this is, because somebody's gonna have to take care of that. We are, Gloria and I are just finishing up an estate for somebody, and she had nobody, she had like $2 million in investment accounts with no beneficiary.
Oh, gee.
No, she did have beneficiary, but she had nobody take care
And who
of
gets all
those
that
investment
money?
accounts.
Who gets all that money?
Well,
They don't have it?
no, nobody would have gotten it if we hadn't done a probate to get authority to notify these people to give the money to Animal Humane and Habitat for Humanity. You know, she had $1 million for each one of them. But nobody was in line to take care of that. They could have just sat there for like ever. You know, so have somebody in line to do that. So mentioning that in a trust is not a bad idea, but you don't have to put that stuff in the trust. And talk to an attorney, because some of them say, well, you can make the trust the beneficiary. Some attorneys say, don't make the trust the beneficiary of your investment accounts. So, and it depends on your situation. So just ask about it. Say, should I do
Just
that?
for legal liability, pretty much.
What?
Is a trust set up for legal liability?
It's
Pretty much.
set up for a lot of different reasons. People do them for all kinds of reasons. Some of it is for a smooth transition, where you've got a successor trustee, so if you die, nothing changes. They just take care of everything. You know, you put your real estate is one of the most important things to put into a trust, because people can, it transfers, it's already titled in the trust. The biggest mistake I see people make with trusts is that they don't put the assets into it that they should put into it.
Yeah,
Like their real estate or their bank account.
yeah, money.
And not saying that every bank account should go into the trust. I've got one client, their estate is well over $1 million, and they have everything set up as beneficiaries, okay? The real estate is the only thing that's in the trust. That's it. The real estate is the only thing that's in the trust. Their bank accounts have beneficiaries payable on deaths. They manage, most of that stuff goes into their investment accounts, so they only have their bank account floating out here as outside of the trust. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. I can't tell you how to do it. But the trusts make it so it's nice and smooth when somebody dies. It's everything's in place, and you can just keep on moving. You can just keep on moving. It's sometimes done as a precursor if you think somewhere down the line you might need to qualify for Medicaid for long-term care, okay? There's a 5-year period. If I did a trust today, I'd be 85 before I could even possibly qualify for Medicaid if I needed long-term care, which I, again, don't ever want to do. That's way off my list. But there's a 5-year waiting period, and if you try to qualify for Medicaid, they'll look back 5 years and say, well, your assets, you had this $300,000 house 4 years ago, so we're going back on that.
And you have to have $2,000 or less to qualify for
Yeah,
Medicaid.
Right,
You've
and there's
essentially
all
have-
kinds
you
of
have to
ways
defer.
to avoid that, but it has to be outside that 5-year period.
So they don't count the trust. What's in trust, they don't count toward Medicaid?
If it's in the trust,
5 years
because it's now owned by this entity, which is your trust. And so it does not count against Medicaid, but it has to have the 5-year window. You have to do it now. You have to do it now and hope you don't need it for 5 years. But it's a good way, and they use it all the time to protect assets
Right.
from Medicaid so that you can step into, if you need it, you can qualify for Medicaid and your assets won't count against you, okay?
Which,
Talk to an attorney about that. I'm not gonna go into details on that,
I
Annette.
was just saying, a lot of people think, oh, I don't ever want to go into a Medicaid facility, which I'm probably one of those people, but what people need to remember is Medicaid offers a lot more services than Medicare. So
Yeah.
sometimes Medicaid will allow you to stay in your home because it
Right.
provides for in-home care
Oh, yeah.
and a lot more services,
So
So
this,
sometimes it
yeah.
has its advantages.
yes, and thank you for that, because if we need it, it's one of the best resources that people have, because the coverage is so broad.
Yeah,
It is so broad. I've got friends that are on Medicaid that I'm like,
I know. It's
holy crap,
nice.
how do you get that kind of service? Because I'm on Medicaid. And I go, oh, I had a lady, I've got this couple in the class down at South Valley. He had a stroke 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. And she was talking yesterday, we were talking about Medicare and Advantage plans, and she said, I'm not gonna tell people what to do, but she said, we were on straight Medicare, not on an Advantage plan, because people were talking about getting bills on Medicare Advantage plans, because half the providers these days are out of system. So people get these surprise bills in the Medicare Advantage plans where the anesthesiologist is out of system. Okay? We're hearing it all the time. She said with straight Medicare, you're never out of system. You can go anywhere, you can get coverage,
It's much
and we're all
better.
sitting there going, well,
Is it?
darn.
Well, I'll have to look into that then.
Look at that, look at doing Medicare,
goodness.
straight
The only thing is
Medicare.
if you've waited more than, I think, 6 months or a certain period of time, then the pre-existing conditions come into play.
Right, right. But she said it saved their savings too, because Medicare covers so much more than the Medicare Advantage plans, and you don't get these surprise bills, and they can go anywhere. I mean, they had treatment out of state, they did all kinds of things, so, it's just something to
It's a
look
lot
at.
more money though,
Huh?
monthly, it's a lot more.
No, the premiums are the same.
Yeah, but
The
it's
Medicare premium is the same, straight Medicare is the same as an Advantage care premium,
So then why do people pick Medicare Advantage?
because it's simpler. It's like, I don't know, I'm on a Medicare Advantage, but when it comes up for renewal time, I'm gonna look at straight Medicare.
That's what I'm gonna do
And I've got
too.
friends that,
That's what I'm gonna do.
nurses and other medical professionals who say, switch to straight Medicare.
Because
Are you on
really you
straight
don't get
Medicare?
much with
No,
Medicare
but I
Advantage either.
was with friends last Saturday, and there were 2 nurses in the gathering of 8 people, and they said the same thing.
Yeah,
Medicare is a better option than an Advantage plan, because then your stuff is covered.
yeah, you got more flexibility,
Well, I'll have
and
to
you've got
look
better
into that.
coverage.
The denials are higher with the Advantage plans.
Yep,
Oh,
They can say, no, we don't want to.
We don't wanna do
yeah,
I
you're getting more control by the insurance company
Yep.
through the Advantage plans, so.
If you travel, you
And-
want straight Medicare.
And if you travel, for sure.
And if you travel, to have just regular Medicare. So it's just something to think about. And I knew that, and I said, well, probably the reason I haven't switched, after all the advice I've gotten from people, is the thought of switching to straight Medicare, because I've been on the Advantage plan since I turned 65, so I've been on there for 15 years.
No, it's hard.
And I've just cruised through without any claims or anything, so it's like, I'm good to go, unless I'm not,
Yeah.
unless I'm not. She says they carry a supplemental plan, so they cover extraordinary expenses through a supplemental plan, through like AARP or somebody like that. But it's just something for y'all to think about. So,
I have a question when you said about the trusts, about the Medicaid. You can't make more than $1,200 per month to get on Medicaid. But how can you get on Medicaid if you're via millions of dollars in
because
a
it's in a trust, it's owned by somebody else. It's like you can qualify for Medicaid because now I own everything. Look at me as the trust, okay? Just pretend
Yeah,
I'm
but
the.
they ask you all those questions, do you what are your assets?
But
If you have
that's
any
not your
assets-
asset anymore. If
It's
it's
still-
in a trust.
It's still considered an asset, though.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
not?
now I've given it to my trust. My trust owns it.
Oh, well.
My
I didn't
trust
know that.
owns it. It is no longer my asset unless it's been less than 5 years
Huh.
and then you're screwed.
I have a question regarding the trust.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you don't have a trust yet,
Okay,
what do you have to have in place before you can set up a trust? Like, do you have to get all this other stuff in order, or can you get the trust and then get everything in order?
what stuff would you talk about getting in order?
Oh, having the will, having the.
If you have a trust, you probably don't need a will. There's a special will that goes with a trust, which is called a pour-over will, which means that if you forgot to put something in the trust that you should have put in the trust, the pour-over will puts it in the trust
Yes.
when you die.
Okay, so,
That's what
and,
I've
and
got.
now you said you were gonna give us a list of resources. Does that include attorneys who deal with these things?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to take action.
And,
Yeah,
and I have one, there's a whole lot of attorneys out there. And if you interview and talk to them, find somebody that you trust and feel good with. I've got 3 or 4 that I can recommend, but they may not work for you, I've got clients that I recommended a couple of attorneys and they said it didn't work with either one of them. They didn't like them, so they came up with somebody else. I will say, please don't go to walk-in wills. If you've already done it, I'm sorry.
I did that once.
Walk-in wills. It's a company down on Carlisle. Please don't go there.
Why?
Because I've cleaned up like 4 different cases. My multi-million-dollar client that we're just finishing up her probate, she had her will done there. Total mess. Totally done wrong. It was, we may file a claim against them because of how bad her estate was taken care of.
Wow.
So I'm just saying. So talk to people, make sure you're getting what you want. So educate yourself. Go in and talk to some attorneys. I'm going to give you something. It shouldn't cost you a fortune to get it done. It may, the couple that just gave me this new attorney's name, they said it cost them $3,600, and it was a complex trust. It was a complex trust. So you don't know what it's going to cost you, and maybe people here have attorneys they've worked with, but just know what you're getting into. So it's not like getting everything together. It's like sit down and make a list of what you've got, make a list of your assets, really think about what they are. It's like, so what are my assets and where do I want them to go? So you've done that preliminary work before you go in to see an attorney. So that, and I'll sit with you if you'd like. I do a lot of preliminary work with people where they're looking at their stuff and say, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let me sit down with you. And let's look. You make your list first. You make your list of your assets, the things that are important. Put dollar values on them. Put down where you'd like them to go and why you'd like them to go there. But do that work first. I did that with a little lady down in the South Valley. She had been saying, finally she engaged with me. She said, I need to do something. Well, she was this very unassuming, quiet lady in the classes. Well, when I sat down with her, she had this big chunk of land down in the South Valley, and she had 11 kids. Okay? So it needed to be a trust. She thought she just needed to do a will. And it's like, oh, that's probably not your best solution. So we figured out what to do. Then I walked with her to an attorney and said, we had all the paperwork, we had the deeds to the property, we had the subdivision to the property, we had the list of all of her kids, we had a list of everything. We had the whole history of her property before she went in to see the attorney. And then they did a trust, figured out exactly how it was gonna be, and just think of a trust as a suitcase or as a cooler.
Yeah.
It's a box. You put everything in it that needs to go in it. But you decide what needs to go in it. The financial accounts, the investment accounts don't need to go in it. They're gonna be taken care of separate from that. They don't need to go into a will if you're just doing a will. You know, those investment accounts don't, but when you're thinking about a trust, think about it as a suitcase. That you can put your stuff in it, you can put your real estate in it, you can put whatever other assets that you need to put in there. So that somebody else, if you die, can come by and just pick up the suitcase and go. They've got everything they need.
If you put your property in a trust, can that help prevent these bozo scammers going down the public records and changing the ownership of your property and claiming it? I've heard that's an issue. So if we set up a trust for your real estate, that will prevent?
It won't prevent crooks. That's impossible. That's impossible.
Possible.
Well,
You gotta
people
see
can
what
go
company
down and
you're
try to
dealing
do
with, too.
stuff, whether
Take
it's
all
in a
your
trust or whether it's in your name. The other thing about a trust that is, that can be good is that it is, if you die, your information is private. It doesn't have to be public record, okay? Because it's in a trust, everything takes place
Well, that's what I
inside
was
this.
getting at. If it's in a trust and it's not public record, these bozo scammers
Yeah.
can't look up public records.
To try to get it,
Who owns that? Oh,
Yeah.
some little old lady up there, we can
Right.
take over.
snag it, yeah.
Yes, you don't want, so that's one of the things, and that's okay too. I mean,
Yeah.
because that doesn't mean that they can go in and do something nefarious, but they could.
Yeah.
With a trust, it's a little bit safer, but, and that the deed into the trust will be filed at the county clerk's office.
Right.
I own the property, I now transfer it to the Jane Westbrook Revocable Trust. That is now the owner of the property, I no longer own it. My trust, which is a legal entity, owns it, okay? One thing to think about that, if you put it into a trust, you have complete control over it. You're the trustee in a trust. It's my property. I go ahead and I act just the same as I did when I owned it, but now the title is different. You have to remember to put everything in it. If you don't, the pour over will may work, or you may have forgotten something, and we can usually deal with that. But remember to fund it. And if you're gonna have a trust done, go ahead and have your real estate deed done at the same time by the same attorney. Make sure it gets into the trust, because that's the biggest thing that most people have that goes into a trust is their house.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm like. Did you say fund it?
We call it funding by putting the stuff in it. It means I'm funding
The
it,
documents?
putting the documents in it. It's a legal term that they use. So,
So I have a question, so if, did I forget it?
can we help you? Okay.
Oh, so you said to review things annually.
Yep.
So if you're gonna review your trust, your will, and you need to go and review it with an attorney, about what does that cost every year?
You may not need to review it with an attorney. If you're satisfied with what you've created, all I'm saying is look at it, make sure your successor trustee
It's still alive.
is still alive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that your successor, you don't need to change it. They haven't gone crazy and spun off to Thailand, and now you need to change your trustee. Just
If
take,
I'm changing my advance directive part of it and all of that, I just change it and put it in
just change
there?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just change that.
So I don't really need to go and have it reviewed?
No,
every year?
I'm saying you review it and say, does this still do what I wanted it to do?
I was just worried about laws changing.
If it's large changes, it's probably gonna cost you $500 to $1,000 to make a big change to a trust. My friends who just paid $3,600, their trust was 25 years old. So they just they rewrote it. They had to do a whole
Mine's 22
new,
years old, so.
they had to do a whole new trust. So, and all of their assets had changed, except for the house. So,
I don't have anything.
So, let's talk about some of the other ways that you can transfer property upon death, okay? New Mexico, not all states have this. New Mexico has a transfer on death deed,
Right.
which for a simple, in a simple situation, that may be perfect. All you do is have attorney prepare this. Please don't go online and pull up a transfer on death deed online and fill it out.
The county clerk has those forms that you can use, and they're legal in New Mexico.
The what?
The county clerk has those forms.
Right. That the form isn't the problem. The language in the form and the precise description of the property to make sure you get everything correct on it, because if you screw up that description, you screw up any of that, it's not valid, okay? So just have your original deed, your deed to your property, go see an attorney. My friends over at, let me see what their price is on that.
Yeah.
If you were only doing a transfer on death deed, or maybe it's not on here. It's like $100, $125 or something.
Where at? That's an attorney?
I'll give you all this stuff because this is a law firm that I
right
work
away.
Yeah.
This is something that I want to take care of right away.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
simple.
Okay, it's a simple thing to do, and you can always change it. You can always change it. So let's go through the steps with a transfer on death deed. Okay, I've got a piece of property, and I want to leave it to Mary when I die, okay? So I have this, I take my original deed, the one that describes the property, and I take it to an attorney and say, I want to transfer this to Mary when I die. They prepare the deed, we sign it, we notarize it, they send it to the county clerk for me. It has to be recorded before you die.
Right.
They send it to the county clerk, they could do it electronically, all of the attorneys have the ability to record this stuff electronically. You don't have to go down and take care of it. It's like a $25 or $35 fee to record it. So at this point, it just says, when I die, Mary gets my house. I still own this house until I die. I can mortgage it. I can do anything I want to with it. I can sell it. I can give it away to somebody else. Because all it says is that Mary gets it if I die. But if somewhere down the road, 2 years from now, I decide that I want to give it to Sparky instead, I can either give it to her directly, say, I'm going to deed you the house. I still have the right to do that because my transfer on death deed just says it happens when I die. Nothing happens till I die.
So you can change it at any time.
I
can change it.
I can just, I don't
Yeah.
even have to revoke that
Right.
if I sell it to somebody else.
Right.
Okay, might not be a bad idea just to clean up so people know what it is.
Yeah.
You can revoke it. I can say, okay, well, I decided that Ann's gonna get it when I die instead of Mary. So I revoke the transfer on death deed that I did. I file a new one that says Ann gets it when I die. It's that simple. When I die, you don't have to do anything. It's already filed. The transfer has been made, but you need to make sure everybody knows about
If
it.
you sell it, you don't own it anymore, so you can't.
That's right.
Yeah,
there's
so,
nothing to give.
yeah, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a
null and
simple
void.
way.
Null and void.
It's a simple way. It works almost as smoothly as a trust does to transfer title to it. Okay? It just says when I die, you get this. Okay? It is public record then. You can mortgage it. You can sell it. You retain complete control of it until you die. Then you get it.
There are banks that do that too, transfer and death.
Yeah,
For bank accounts.
On bank accounts.
Oh,
It's
really?
a payable on debt, usually called a payable on death at banks. So you can do that on any of your banking accounts, your savings, your checking accounts. You can do payable on death. a little cautionary tale on that is that make sure you've got the paperwork that's for your bank, if you're gonna do a payable on death, and keep it current. That's why the annual review. Pay attention to that, because if I made it payable on death to Anne, and Anne died, then it's gonna go to her estate.
Oh, and then that can
Okay,
get real
then
sticky.
it's gonna trigger a probate, probably.
Yeah.
So just see what the far-reaching effects of that are. But payable on death for bank accounts, for CDs, a variety of things. Check with your bank. They're all different. We did a payable on death for a client of ours with Bank of America. It took us 4 hours. It was a complicated payable on death for her accounts, because there were multiple ones. It took us 4 hours to get it done and go through the paperwork. So just say, what do you have that I need to do to make this payable on death? If you have somebody, somebody needs to, and I've seen this happen where people think, well, payable on death, I just get to walk into the bank now and say, payable on death, grandma died. And they say, huh. Well, it's gonna take some paperwork to get through this. The money is not immediately available. If you have a place where you need to have money available for somebody to pay end-of-life expenses, to pay for a funeral, to pay for maintaining the house, you need to set something else up. Like a joint bank account. Okay? And remember powers of attorney? There was a discussion in a group the other day, and this guy said, well, I had power of attorney, so I was able to take care of everything after my mom died, or my dad died. And I said, did you know that's called fraud? Because a power of attorney, if I give, and we use you again, I give Mary power of attorney. When I die, that power of attorney dies with me. That it is not an estate planning document.
Oh.
It's true.
Powers of attorney, whether it's a medical power of attorney, that's simple. Because if I die, obviously, medical power of attorney ends. But if you die, a power of attorney that you have executed to somebody else, it dies. It is no longer valid because it is for the living person.
And it's really important with dementia.
It's really important. It's yeah. So, but just knowing that, yeah, it's, sorry Penny, she says, I wish it wasn't so complicated, but it is.
It just is.
Yeah, there's 1,000 different pieces here. And if you want to sit down with me, if you want to sit down and say, okay, this is what I'm seeing, how's the easiest way to, and sometimes it's a fix for right now, and then you may want to complicate it, or you may want to do it into a trust. But if you need something right now, maybe just transfer on death deed, to make sure that the house is taken care of, that it transfers easily to who you want it to. So, do you have something, Jan?
Well, I have a question. So let's say in this scenario, my husband and I were killed in a car accident at the same time.
Right.
Our son lives in Canada. Does that complicate things?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. I mean, he would be the heir. And I don't know what would happen going across into Canada. But if the
Does he
laws
have
of the state
dual citizenship?
where your property is would rule.
What is this?
So,
What do people do these days with safe deposit boxes?
okay, let's talk about safe deposit boxes.
I have a question. I have one thing to say on transfer on death. If you're giving your house to a nonprofit instead of a person, that has to happen it's a quirk of New Mexico law. That has to happen in a will.
Oh.
So it's not the same for some reason under New Mexico law. I learned that recently.
Name that entity into the will first, and then?
It happens within your will. It's not a standalone document if you're giving it to Animal Humane or somebody like that, so.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, so.
See, she
I'm
doesn't,
saying
she
that-
doesn't learn
I don't
things from
know
me very
everything.
often, so.
Okay, I'll be checking that out and see
Okay.
if you got good advice or not, Dave. Whether they were pulling your leg. Yeah,
It's just a quirk of New Mexico law, according to my attorney.
okay.
Who knows?
And keep that in mind too. It's not math. It's not like 2 and 2 is always 4. If I take my estate situation to your attorney, or I take it to another attorney, they may tell us different things.
Yep.
So,
Ask 10 attorneys the same question, you'll get 11 answers.
so,
So safety deposit boxes.
okay, safety deposit boxes.
'Cause
Safety
that's where
deposit,
my original trust is.
what?
That's where my original trust is, that they would have to go and get.
Okay,
Oh, my God.
you need to get it out of there. It's not,
You need
nobody
the
can,
trust to
nobody
access
can do
the
anything
safety
to a
deposit
trust,
box, right?
okay? Nobody can, even if you have the original out in your notebook, in trust, copies are as good as the original. With wills, you have to have the original to probate it. But with a trust, copies are the same, and usually the way they prepare it now is that every copy is as good as the original. So you don't have to have it in the safety deposit box. The only thing that, according to the advice I've gotten, is that really the only things that you want in the safety deposit box are jewelry, diamonds, and money.
What about your car title and
No.
stuff like that?
You don't need it in there.
Where do you put it?
You put it in your notebook.
Oh.
Or a safe at home.
Make sure your
Yeah, or save at
person knows
home.
where they are.
Or, yeah. That's
So-
not where stuff goes.
So repeat it again, jewelry, money, and.
Jewelry, money,
I
and,
think money would be
and,
good.
yeah. Jewelry and money. I said diamonds, so.
I think
They
that's
can be
jewelry.
loose.
Huh?
Get rid of my safety deposit.
Diamonds can be loose.
Yeah,
Yeah, I probably don't need my safety deposit.
so, and you need somebody on that safety deposit box with you,
I do have that.
and you need them to have a key,
Yes.
and you need to make sure your paperwork allows them to access it by themselves without you. So again, we're talking about trust here. You gotta have somebody that you absolutely trust with your treasures that are in the safe deposit box. And my suggestion, which is a little nefarious, if I die and you're on my safe deposit box with me, my suggestion is that you don't go into the bank and say, Jane died, I need to get into the safe deposit box. You've got the key,
Just act
you're
like.
on the
Just walk
signature
in.
card,
Yeah,
go into the safe deposit box and clean it out.
Yeah.
yeah.
If I have so
And
much
say-
jewelry, I need a
say,
safety
"Hi,
deposit box, I need to get rid of
I need to
jewelry."
get into the safe deposit box and go in and get the stuff out. Don't tell them that I died. Okay, there's nothing, they don't need to know that if you're on the account with me, or if you're on the safe deposit box with me. Same thing if you're on the bank account with me. Don't go into the bank if you're on the account. If you're a co-signer on my account, make sure it's a co-signer. Check your signature card, ask them to get you a copy of it, and put it in your notebook. Okay? Don't go into the bank and say, Jane died, I need to get the money out. Write the frickin' check. Hit it with a debit card, whatever you want to do with it. But they don't have to know. Okay?
They'll know soon enough.
They'll know soon enough, because when it hits Social Security, the alarms go out to the banks and everything else. Everybody gets this stuff. So if you're gonna do something, just do it,
Okay.
okay?
Do
Remember,
they have to do that in person, do you know? Or can you get a form from the bank and have someone add it to your account?
You need to get it from the bank, yeah,
But you have to get it from the bank, but does the person have to be present?
Yes.
probably.
Well, my.
Yeah.
You have to sign it.
He can name it, him or her could name anybody they want
Wells Fargo
on that.
branch in Arizona.
Okay,
My sister's out.
good point. She said her son went to Wells Fargo in Arizona, because they're all, I had somebody else do that the other day too, where they had one of their kids signed it somewhere else and it went into the system.
But I'm
So-
not new Cinda, but I'll wait till she's
But
here.
make sure you have a copy of that in your notebook, so that if something happened to you and somebody else was gonna have to step in, that they know what everything is. So this summary that Mary, this outline that she provided, and do a summary letter. I'm really big on summary letters now. Instead of having somebody have to go through Mary's book, if they call and say, I need some help, I want a letter at the front. If it's a 4-page letter, that's fine. If it's a 1-page letter, tell me what's in the book. Tell me what I need to look for. Tell me, do the Dear Adam letter.
Adam,
It's
yeah.
like, tell me what I need to look for, so I don't have to go through, what does the trust say? You know, who should I call about this? Put it in a letter, so it's a summary of everything that's in there.
Well, and I have a summary at the beginning of each tab
Right.
that describes what's there, what to do, how to sell my house, you know, all this
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
In terms of safety deposit boxes, when my mother-in-law she went to assisted living because of dementia and health issues. She had 3 banks, and she had a total of like 6 safety deposit boxes between the 3 banks. And, you know, my husband and I were both co-signers, and we had a key. And so when my husband had a stroke, I was left to deal with everything. So
Right.
I had the opportunity then to go into Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and whatever the bank is that doesn't exist anymore, on First and Lomas, and, you know, get whatever was in her deposit boxes out. And my mother-in-law grew up in the Depression, so when the scare was in 2008, she went and converted a whole bunch of money to silver dollars.
Okay.
You know, so she
Sure,
had
bags out.
one of these big safety
Yeah.
deposit boxes
Full of
filled
silver.
with silver dollars.
Yep.
It was
Wow,
amazing.
silver's doing well right now.
You remember safety deposit boxes started as a safe place to put paper stuff like cash. The internet wasn't happening yet, digital banking wasn't happening yet. You have to determine if you even need it anymore. Like,
Right.
you know, like,
Right.
they're happy to take your
money
fee
out,
for
yeah.
it, but do you really need a safety deposit
Yeah.
box
Yeah,
anymore?
just think about that.
Don't.
Yeah. Jay, you have something?
Among the other things I've been in my life is a car dealer, and I want to say 2 things about car titles.
Okay.
If you're married or you have a child or a grandchild that you trust, you need that other person to be on your car title as or.
Right.
Just put your first name, if you kind of have an attachment to the car, put your name first. And I have mine, Jay Johnson or Barbara Free. First
Okay.
of all, that's the only way you can give it to somebody when you die. It's already belongs to both of us, 100%. So if I'm out of town and the car's wrecked, she can sell it or deal with the insurance company.
Right.
And if I'm dead, she can keep it. And the other thing is, it costs about $5 to get
Title change?
a copy title. It's called a duplicate. And that duplicate, once they issue it, the title you don't know you have misplaced doesn't count. And if your name is on the title, you can get a duplicate title. So,
How
so it's
complicated is it to add
you can go
someone as a
online,
or?
it's easy.
It's very
Go-
simple.
But you have to go to MVD to do it.
Right.
All you have
Yeah.
to do is take your title down there and you sign and get a new title with both names.
Okay.
Does that person have to be
And
present?
there is,
When you're a widow, it's.
there is, without having that auto title, there is a way in New Mexico that is a pretty simple process that anybody who has a claim can transfer the title after somebody's death. So it's just, you know, there's 1,000 moving parts here. There's 1,000 moving parts. I want to talk, we got 10 minutes, I want to talk about joint ownership of property, okay? Just so you know, in New Mexico is a community property state, okay? If I'm married and I haven't done sole and separate property agreements or whatever on my stuff, and I have a husband, which I don't, but if I did, they might have community property rights on my property if I don't designate some other thing about it, okay? We are not a, what's the word? I lost it.
Dual property state or?
Texas is a, God, where did that go? It's off here somewhere. Help me help. Okay,
You're
somebody
talking
can
about
help.
property ownership, so
Yeah,
something with
yeah,
property
but what I'm
ownership.
talking about is,
Like
What-
when a
I'm
couple
talking about
has
something.
equal right to assets?
what is
or-
it when you're common law marriage?
Common law.
God,
There you go, common
Sorry,
law.
God, that took a while
Oh
to
my
find
goodness,
that.
I was trying to figure out where you were going with that,
Where are you
okay.
going with this?
Common
Nobody knows
law.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you're
We
shacking
are
up with
not a
somebody.
common law marriage state.
Right.
I don't care if we've been together for 40 years
Yeah,
Oh, is that right?
or 50 years,
right,
and if we file taxes together,
right.
but we aren't married,
Still aren't married.
they have no rights. If we have commingled our funds for my house that I own, my partner of 40 years would have no rights.
Really?
Unless they came in to claim it and say, if they wanted to challenge, say, I own the house and I leave it to you,
Oh my goodness.
but I don't leave it to my partner. We are not common law. We are not a common law state. So I don't care whether it's a gay marriage, whether it's a straight marriage or it's a straight couple, it doesn't matter. That person who has been with you, unless there's some legal documents to support it,
Wow.
has no rights, okay? The surprise with community property for people is if I have the house, somebody moves in with me, we get married, and we start sharing expenses, they may have some claim on it. And so you need to think about that if we get new partners. But know that New Mexico is a community property state, and without a sole and separate property agreement, your partner, your spouse, whatever, could have some rights on it. So just think about that too. And that changes, you know, I watch people fall in love and all of a sudden, you know, they've got a partner and now they've got a $50,000 tax liability because they said, well, you owe her, you know, this amount of money because of.
So does Texas recognize common law?
Texas, it recognizes common
Common law, like
Okay.
after so many years or whatever?
With all
Okay.
kinds of complications and details around that. There are other community, you can own property, that's a community property is if you're married. If you're not married, a lot of people own property as joint tenants.
Joint
With rights of
tenants with right
survivorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have that, because when my late husband died, the house we lived in was deeded to us by his folks, and it had both our names on it, but they did this themselves, and they did not know about joint tenants with right of survivorship. So when he passed, you know, his half technically could have belonged to any kids that he had
That's
that
right.
I didn't know about. And so I had to go through probate anyways,
Right.
because it did not say joint tenants with right
With
of
rights of
survivorship. That was a
Correct.
very big deal.
Or
And
his.
that's a really quick, easy
Sure.
way to
Cause it'd be
transfer
50%
ownership.
his, whatever his
Yeah,
was.
so there's laws of succession. If you are joint tenants, but not with rights of survivorship, then like you said, it could go to kids, it could go to somebody else, it could go through a will, you know. So there's just 1,000 different stories and 1,000 different options. I'm gonna give you this as the last thing, just so that you know that you have some options. And I won't tell you about, I worked with this attorney she's done most of legal work for most of my family. And this is, she is one of the best estate and tax lawyers I know, Tracy R. Her name's not on here anywhere. You might write it down, it's funny. It's like R, like the pirate. Except it's A-H-R. Tracy R. And she does high-powered stuff all the time. But she knew that people needed resources to do simple things. So she created this part of her law firm. And the main reason I give you this is that this can be a guideline of what it might cost you to do something simple. Okay, so that you don't go and they say, well, it's going to cost you $5,000 to do this, and you can go through and you can have individual documents done. This is for without a whole lot of conversation with the attorney. It's like if I want to go in and have a transfer on death deed, you can go in and you can just do a transfer on death deed. Okay. And they'll make sure it's all done right, and they'll make sure it's all done correctly. So she created this for simplicity for people. But it gives you some guidelines of what it might cost. Like a living trust package for a couple, $2,000. Okay? For a single person, $1,400. Okay? So you can do this simply, but just so you don't go in and they say, well, it's going to cost you $5,000. I had somebody go to Walk-in Wills, and it cost them $5,000 for a simple trust.
Oh my goodness.
And they were like, sorry. So I worked with these people. If you want to, but get all your stuff together before you go in. If you need to see Tracy and actually have a consult with her, the price goes up. If it's complex, it may not be complex. They send you a whole, you can go online and they will send you a whole questionnaire. You can fill everything out and have a way of talking about it. So, but this is just so, if nothing else, to know that there are simple ways to do it. There could be complicated ways to do it. If you want to sit down with me and talk about what you might need, I'll be glad to do that. So that's it. We're out of time. Bring your questions back next week. And next week we're going to talk about what do we do with our dead bodies. More fun, Penny.
Yay.
More fun to talk about.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay. All right.
Jane,